that driving in, and I knew, but he's in the van, and it's next to a stadium. We turned the corner, and everyone in the van, apart from me, goes, "Fucking no way!" It's like an 80,000 seater stadium, and I went, "We ain't playing it." And I knew. I didn't even look up from my phone.
So I'm here with the magnificent Joe Nally of URNE. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm slightly under the weather. Been ill for the last few days, but everything else is all right. Yeah, I'm good. Just come back from doing some shows and festivals around Europe, and so yeah, it's all feeling good.
I mean, it's a little bit more than some shows around Europe, isn't it? You're supporting
Yeah, yeah,
a,
yeah,
a rather large
yeah,
band.
yeah. I must admit, yeah, it's like yeah, getting a chance to go out with Gojira. It's been brilliant, and it's been as good as a learning opportunity for a band our size and bigger bands could get going out and watching how the crew works and how the crew treat each other and treat support bands and how the band act and always like analyzing what's going on in like sound check and getting everything right and always talking about what to do to improve, really going over it. And I'm like, wow, like if you could just sit back and keep watching and then watch their live show, I always try to get quite close because I just like to see what they're doing.
Hmm.
And to be fair, I probably come across as like a real fanboy because I was cutting it up every night. Like, I was like loving it. And yeah, it was an experience and very, very feel very privileged to have been able to go and do that for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as there was no sort of Wayne's World moment backstage, I'm sure it's it's totally fine.
No, you're not allowed to be in their like sort of sound checks, or if you are, don't film. And I was sort of like at a venue in Vienna, which is outdoors, and I was sort of like behind a tree, and then this guy who worked there started filming, and it stopped, and everyone's like, "No, no, no!" over the thing, and I'm like behind this wall, like fucking hell, and I'm
Me?
like, "Do they think it's me?" Yeah, and I'm just like, "Oh God!" And they're telling the guy, and I'm like, "They don't know I'm here. Do I need to hide, or do they just not care that I'm here because they know that?" Wow, we are. And then after a while, I realised I just didn't care that I was there. So I spent a couple of days trying to hide in like a room or in a box just to watch and listen to the sound check to realise I didn't actually need to do that. Probably is a little bit of a comical embarrassment thing was walking into the first venue and then being shocked that it was massive, even though we knew it was. And we were like, fuck, but saying that, driving in, and I knew, we was in the van and it's next to a stadium. We turn the corner and everyone in the van, apart from me, goes, "Fucking no way!" It's like an 80,000 seater stadium, and I went, "We ain't playing it." And I knew. I didn't even look up from my phone. I was just like, "We ain't playing it, lads." And they were like, "Oh yeah, no." Like, I knew, but the way they went mental.
Mr. Joe Duplantier was kind of the main man behind producing the album, wasn't he?
It was mental. That happened to us. A lot of it's thankfully down to the bass player loving metal, listening to literally everything that comes out, and he decided to, what we can gather, I think, listened and then sort of showed their management,
Oh.
and then showed it to Joe. And I don't, from what I can gather, he's not like he does that to many bands at all. And then Joe reached out, and the ball started rolling from there, really. Fast forward 10 months, 9 months, whatever it is, new drummer just before we had to go. And we were outside the studio and there he is. And he's, "Hey guys." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." The guy who's responsible for the greatest metal records of all time, we're about to walk into his studio and work on our album. A guy who doesn't really do much producing with anyone else, apart from some friends, bands, and whatnot, reached out to us, and here we are.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
It was weird. I said from the moment we left there, I'm like, even if we had one more day, like the amount we could have learned with one more day, we're just there. But he was so busy at the time because he's getting ready to go off on tour with Gojira. So it was pretty manic at points, and but we had their engineer, their live engineer, who also is the engineer on Magma. We co-produced Magma and engineer Fortitude, and I think the live at Brixton LP,
Hmm.
Johan. So we had him fly over to work on it. There's other engineers, but that was the one that they thought. Well, that's the one that they got in, and then they were like, "You need to go to Ted Jansen to master it. We'll start this." And then yeah, Ted, who's worked on old records that I own and some of the greatest albums and mastering jobs ever, worked on ours, and it's amazing. It's extremely lucky.
Yeah. But you can tell that you guys are, so grateful for the opportunity and not, sort of like not taking anything for granted.
The hard work starts now,
Yeah.
and if I came out with that attitude of not being grateful for this thing that I waited my whole musical career to have a glimpse at something like that, I'd be a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad that we've all walked out. But what they've done for us since, you know, we're a tiny band, and they picked all these bands to go out and do some shows, but we got picked for all of them. And thankfully, certainly by like the last show when we were main support, we got a longer set. I felt like they felt like they took the right thing by taking us out, because I just think we really found our footing. It was just a great experience for all of us. And our sound guy, Tom, young guy, he gets taken on tour. Johan helped him, showed him the guy who created this amazing live sound for Gojira, who took Tom under his wing, sort of thing, and helped him the whole time, was with him the whole time. And what better way to learn than watching that guy? Our sound guy's 24, 25, just watching and studying that guy. And to him, it was like, wow, he was like, oh my God, the guy who's responsible for this, I get to like use his sound desk and use this and that. Whereas I'm like, oh my God, there's Mario Duplantier. He's like, oh my God, there's Johan Meyer. And that's still the funny one. No matter what, I will say, all wicked, they're all lovely. But there is something about when Mario walks into a room, it's like, it's weird. It's sort of weird. He's like real business mind, and he's Mario the Plantier. But when he walks into a room, every time Joe, it's like I chat shit with him, and even on the last day, he's like, "You're a funny man," and I was just like, I chat a lot of shit, and he went, "I never guessed." Do you know what I mean? And Jean Michel's cool. The guitarist Christian, I didn't think he spoke English. He does, and he's he's chill. But Mario, there's that fucking hell, that's him. And yeah, that would be the one that every time he walked in, I'd be like, "You right, mate?" Like, don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to fucking say. Just cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Just fucking cool. So yeah.